of inclusivity, fairness, solidarity, sustainability, and ambition. Canadians are inclusive. We know our country is stronger when everyone belongs, when newcomers are welcome, when minorities are protected, when Indigenous peoples are true partners. That commitment to inclusion was institutionalized, first in the Bill of Rights and then embedded in the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. It was manifest in our adoption of multiculturalism, first as policy and then as law. In the same spirit, the enshrinement into law of the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples reflects our fundamental commitment to reconciliation and to respecting Indigenous peoples as equal partners in building our country together. Value.
Wow. You know, Tamara, let's start with you. That's a little rich, hearing Prime Minister Carney talk about the Charter of Rights and Freedoms and the Bill of Rights and bringing the Indigenous community into it. How did the Charter and the Bill of Rights work for you, Tamara? And you are Métis. Some 4 years ago, when you were having a peaceful protest in Ottawa, when Mr. Carney, if you look at the timeline, would have been an advisor to Prime Minister Trudeau at the time.
Yes, and he was very clearly advising for the takedown and to have us basically charged with sedition. If you saw the op-ed that he put in one of the mainstream newspapers,
the Globe and Mail.
I find it, it's pretty rich coming from this man, in my opinion. I'm still feeling very frustrated that it's been 7 days since the Federal Court of Appeals upheld the Mosley decision, and we have yet to hear a word from any of the Liberal government. We have yet to hear a word. Pierre Poilievre put out a statement, but it was the weakest thing. I mean, I think it said something to the effect of a Conservative government will never use, the Emergencies Act to silence Canadians. Well, I should hope no government in the future will, because 4 judges have agreed that it was illegal. So what are you going to do about it, Pierre? And so to listen to Mark Carney talk about respecting the Charter frustrates me to no end. Like I said, it's been 7 full days. This is a massive, massive ruling from the Federal Court of Appeals. No mainstream media is asking any tough questions. Nothing much coming from the Conservative Party, and absolutely nothing coming from the Liberals. And don't forget, there's still 7 sitting MPs that were directly involved in that. And history would dictate that they should be resigning.
Mm-hmm. Incredible. Rod, what do you make of it? I mean, Carney went on, and maybe we have a clip later about this. He also did the de rigueur, diversity is our strength. I'm sorry, I'm going to take an unpopular position here. No, diversity is not our strength. Merit is our strength. And if the person of merit happens to be diverse, that's fantastic. But just because there's diversity, how does that equate with strength?
Well, it doesn't. Diversity can tend to be a pretty significant weakness, right? Unity is strength. When everyone is singing from the same song sheet, we're stronger. That's how militaries work, isn't it? Everybody gets the same gun and the same tactics and is led by a small group of people, and they do the same things together. So I don't know. I think maybe something that's missing in the historical context, right? Everyone likes to talk about multiculturalism, and it's interesting because I was born in Canada, more than 50 years, well, more than 50 years ago. And Canada was always multiracial. I mean, everyone had friends, David Dollywall and Jerry Wong, right? People used to come to Canada from everywhere. I mean, I'm the son of an immigrant myself. People used to come. Why? Because there was a better opportunity in Canada to make a life than there was where they were in the first place. And they wanted to take part in Canadian culture. So despite what Justin Trudeau would tell you, Canada had a phenomenal, in my opinion, probably the best culture in the world, because we had a really great balance. So I think that idea that everyone was welcome, which was how Canada has always been, was kind of weaponized against us in the idea of multiculturalism. Like having a multiracial society is very different than multiculturalism. And that's what's causing all the problems because, Trudeau did everything he could. In fact, even went as far as to say that our Canadian culture that we've had since Confederation is an unpleasant relic and needs to be eliminated. I can't remember the exact quote, but yeah, it's I think our empathy and our tolerance has been turned against us. And obviously that happened like 20 years ago, but yeah, that's the situation.
You know, those are great points, Rod. And I think it was Trudeau, the first, Pierre, in 1974 that brought in state-sanctioned official multiculturalism. And, you know, Alexa, let me go to you. I think there was always an unspoken deal with multiculturalism. It's this: come from anywhere in the world, take advantage of the Canadian dream, take advantage of all our social welfare programs. Just one thing we want from you. If you have age-old grievances and hatreds and wars that go back, leave it there. Come start afresh. But what have we seen the last 2 years in our Dominion? Certainly in Toronto, certainly in Montreal, we have seen these pro-Hamas demonstrations, chanting for genocide, displaying swastikas, cosplaying as Sinwar, the terrorist mastermind of October 7th, 2023. I would say, based on that evidence, state-sanctioned multiculturalism has been a complete failure.
You know, it's been a time where immigration was actually great. It was working well. People were coming here. They were integrating, and we had no problem. We were there. We accept them with open arm. But under Trudeau II, Mr. Justin Trudeau, it's that this massive immigration, now we talk about illegal immigration, fraud in the immigration system, people exploiting all kind of tactic to come here in Canada. And when they are facing justice, but there is a double standard. They have more rights than what Canadians have. So how can you protect Canadian and Canada if you can come from anywhere in the world? You can come here illegally or in a fraudulent way, and we are going to protect you harder than the Canadians who are living here, who came here legally. So you're not really protecting the country. You're not protecting our culture. You're not protecting anything. This, what he say, is going to destroy what Canada is.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think as far as the Liberals are concerned, it is party over Canada. And I think the unspoken strategy, well, we go back to 2016. Remember Justin Trudeau giving that big middle finger to Trump, hashtag welcome to Canada. So no matter if you're an illegal alien or, as the Liberals call them, irregulars, I thought we called mismatched socks irregulars. But anyways, come on in, and here's the quid pro quo. Every 4 years, make sure you just put a check mark for Team Red, vote the Liberals. We're the ones that brung you. Also, let's go to Carney. He has a incredible explanation about why Canada thrives. This was in, he was responding to Trump's claim that we only exist because of the U.S. I guess that's economically and from a military perspective. But let's see what the Prime Minister had to say, because I'm really confused. I don't get it. Let's roll it.
Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership in the economy, in security, and in rich cultural exchange. But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian. News.
You know, Tamara, I thought for a second I was watching an old ad for a certain Molson Brewery's beverage, but, and I'm not being funny here. That quote, which is, quote, Canada thrives because we are Canadian, end quote. What in blue hell does that mean?
I would like to know. I mean, this is just more word salad nonsense. You know, I listened to some of his speeches and bits of some of his speeches lately, and always, and it's literally word salad, just a bunch of virtue signaling, social justice words strung together. that make no sense. What does that mean? The United States is our biggest trading partner. So in effect, they have kept us alive, you know? I don't understand. Honestly, the last 2 weeks in Canadian politics, I mean, my head is still spinning. We've just signed a partnership deal with China. Then he flew off to Qatar. And I was wondering if he was just going to make a short pit stop in North Korea on his way back. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around it, to be honest.
Rod, let me ask you the same question. Canada thrives because we are Canadian. A, what does that mean? And B, I know it's very fashionable in certain circles to be anti-Trump and to embrace Trump derangement syndrome, but the president is right. I mean, we do depend on the U.S. I mean, as Tamara said, economically, it's a market 10 times the size of our country. And if you look at where our exports traditionally go, but militarily, this has been the reason we have been so delinquent on spending on our military. We know if Canada were ever to be invaded by anyone, who would come to our defense? Well, it'd be the United States of America. So what's your take on this word salad?
Well, obviously all these words are meaningless, right? And that's almost
Exactly.
the strategy, right? Just keep confusing the elbows up crowd. Probably some significant portion of them are pre-dementia anyway. And as long as you just, come across as if you're proud to be Canadian, which, I guess going back maybe 15, 20, I don't know, maybe not even, certainly 11 years ago, I was certainly a lot more proud to be a Canadian. But one thing that has been an undercurrent in Canadian culture for a long time is this anti-Americanism and this, understated Canadian exceptionalism. And all of it is made possible by the blanket of protection provided to us by the Americans for the last, 40 years, where they spend a huge portion of their GDP on military strength. And we are in a position to not spend that, to cut down military spending, to shrink the military, because we know that we're a strategic liability for the United States, and they would not allow anyone else to invade this territory, whether or not they're helping us in the process. But I think the Liberals just took it to the next level. Of course, Donald Trump being there is an influence there. It's like, okay, well, obviously Trump is, Mussolini or Hitler. And then plus we're better than Americans anyway, right? And then that paves the way, interestingly enough, intellectually, for people to be like, yeah, what do we need the states for? And it's like, start thinking before you talk. You need the states for your economy. You need the states for your military defense. You need the states for a lot of different things. And no partnership or collection of partnerships is going to replace that relationship. So I don't know. It's I think a lot of people need to wake up. I don't know how to do that really, but I think it's going to just require a lot of hardship. And I think those days are coming.
You like the hat? Me too. Same strong message about making Canada great again, but in a really cool color, black and gold. There's other colors available, and it's an all Canadian site. So if you want to signal your tribe or trigger a Liberal, go to mcgahats.ca today.